Fox Sports, which is one of the homes for Major League Baseball, came out with its rankings this week of 1 through 30, the teams in the majors. The Dodgers were number 1. The Dodgers were ranked number 1. All right. The Rockies, take a guess where the Rockies were ranked. Well, you know what? We'll show you.
Teams,
hold on. Let's go through the graphic.
How many teams in the league?
There are 30.
Okay, well, I would go lower than that.
Here's 1 through 10. Dodgers are number 1. The Nationals, who by most estimations have the best starting staff in baseball, they're ranked number 2. A lot of people like the Angels. A lot of people think Mike Trout is going to win another MVP. And the Cubs, by the way, the Cubs are the team that's bet on the most in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
not just this year, but every year. Because Chicago fans are crazy and they love Las Vegas. And this year especially, they think the Cubs are going to contend.
Well, but that's the same reasoning that goes into why people buy Powerball tickets.
They
and
think
you
they're
have as
going to win.
much chance of the Cubs winning as you do winning Powerball tickets.
All right, take a look at 11 through 12. How about the Yankees? The Yankees have missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. This could be 3 years in a row for Joe Girardi and the Yankees. They're ranked 20th. The Mets are as high as number 12, which is a little surprising to me because it's not a great lineup, and all those pitchers are very, very young. Giants, who won the World Series last year, are 14th. How about that? Let's go to the next. You'll see the Rockies on this next list.
Hurdle, 17th.
Yeah.
The Pirates have been factors and contenders, playoff teams.
A little surprising.
You'd think they'd be higher with McCutcheon.
How about this? A team that went to the World Series last year, the Royals, ranked 25th. The loss of James Shields doesn't help.
They won a Powerball ticket last year.
The Rockies are ranked 29th out of 30 teams. 29th out of 30 teams. Let me read you the capsule that they put underneath the Rockies here, okay? This is on the Fox Sports website. Jeff Breidich's first off season as general manager was a quiet one, though he netted an extra first-round pick thanks to making a qualifying offer to Michael Kadire. That's the best thing they can say about him. Whether that lack of activity was a good decision will play out in real time, but it's hard to imagine the Rockies vying for anything other than worst mascot in baseball for the upteenth consecutive season. So think about what they had to write about. The fact that they made a great move by making a qualifying offer to Michael Kadire, big whoop, and they've got the worst mascot in all of baseball.
How do you get?
It might be all of sports, frankly.
How do you get through to them?
I
talked to someone recently, and I'll keep this very vague. You and I talked to someone who has been very aware. It's one of those things where the source is familiar with the philosophy of a team or
a baseball person who's been very close to the organization. Yeah.
And he just railed on how they're never going to win.
Yeah.
And he said to us that another person that used to be closely attached to the Rockies,
very closely,
also said the Rockies will never win.
Yeah. You know, I've heard that from a few people through the years, Woody, and this is probably a discussion for a longer discussion for another time. I've had general managers, including one that used to be the general manager here, say to me, you will never have a consistent winning product here at Coors Field because of the altitude.
Well, Dan O'Dowd said that given, they always refer to, and you brought it up the other day, small market team.
Yeah.
That is total bull.
Yeah, they're not a small market team.
That is fire trucking bull.
And don't let them ever tell you that either.
They're not. They're in the top 10 in attendance because, we were talking earlier before Bill came on about why we wouldn't call for a boycott. The other reason I wouldn't call for a boycott is I'm not an idiot. People are not going to boycott the games because of what we said.
Right.
They go out and they want to see the other team. They want to see the Cubs and the Cardinals and the Angels and the Dodgers and those teams because they grew up loving those teams. That's why I was talking about the Cardinals, growing up loving the Cardinals. I still have this tinge when the Cardinals come to town.
Do you?
Yeah, because that was my team.
I guess I still have that for the Cubs when they come into.
Sure,
yeah.
and I don't openly cheer for the Cardinals, but I've always had incredible respect. Dan O'Dowd said, twice in 7 years, the Rockies should contend. What a great goal that is. Twice in 7 years. And then Dick Monfort came out and said, twice in 9 years. Well, I've looked at it. 2009 is getting farther and farther in the rearview mirror. Because, okay, they were contenders in 2007 and 2009. Since then, they've averaged 90 losses a year. That's ridiculous.
The last 4 years, their average record has been 69 and 93.
That's what I'm
How
saying.
bad is that?
Well, if you take it back, I mean,
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
it was like post Elway years for a little while there.
Yeah.
I don't know how you look yourself in the mirror every day, but you talk about what the previous general
I
manager
think
said.
there's a lot of self-delusion there.
But it's not.
I seriously,
But
I
it's
do.
not just Dick Monfort. The vice president, I mean, the loyalty, when you look at the executive people who've been there, and I won't use specific names, but the ticket vice president has been there forever. Really? I mean, people.
That's the one thing they're doing well. They're selling tickets.
Marketing people, but no, they could be selling a lot more tickets. But I'm just saying that the marketing people have been there. They're the ones that put Tulowitzki's name wrong on the back of the
Misspelled
jersey. And Arenado's name was misspelled. How tough is this? How tough really is it? I got an emailer who said, what about the training staff, the medical staff, all of these groin pulls and little injuries? Are they doing the right thing? Well, those people have been around forever. And I like Keith Duggar. I think he does a great job. But after a while, you got to think, maybe they're not treating people's injuries correctly. You got to wonder about the entire operation from top to bottom, but they're like a mom and pop. And I love mom and pop hardware stores, but they just can't exist anymore.
Well, there's an old saying, and I think it comes from Europe because my grandfather used to use it all the time. Whenever something was going wrong with an organization, with a team, he would say, "The fish stinks at the head." And you know what that means? It's not just the bottom of the fish that stinks. It stinks from up and down and down and up. And it usually starts at the head, meaning in sports, the owner. If the owner's bad, there's a trickle down to the rest of the organization.
Well, I wouldn't even
Everything's
mind, I
bad.
wouldn't even
It all
mi-
stinks.
I wouldn't even mind if the owner was bad, if there was a president of this club that was really running it.
Yeah.
But the owner is the president, and he has less. I've told him he has less experience in baseball than I've had. And I should be running a team. I have been around. I spent a full year when Whitey Herzog was the farm director for the New York Mets. Great players. They went on to win World Series. Guys that played in Memphis. And I studied at his feet. I think people would agree. Whitey Herzog, one of the best baseball people in Joe Madden kind of type.
Great
guy.
manager.
And won World Series with the Cardinals in Kansas City. And I think I learned a lot about baseball. I was around baseball. I don't deserve to be. Dick Monfort was born into a family where there was a lot of money. They made a lot of money in the meatpacking business. Was he a baseball player? No. Did he start at the bottom of the organization? Did they say, let's have you intern for 3 or 4 years? No. When he came in, because he came into the ownership, he wasn't involved in the ownership. He came into the ownership because one of the owners went bankrupt with his diamond business in Russia. Another one of the owners was pushed out. One of your friends was pushed out.
They pushed Jerry McMorris
was
out.
pushed out.
Yeah.
Mariucci was pushed out. They pushed
Antonucci.
I'm sorry, Mariucci is the coach. Charlie then took over. He didn't really want to do it after a brief time. So Dick comes in, the president of the club dies, they don't replace him. So tell me, explain
Woody,
to me,
it
Dick's
makes
background
no sense.
was he worked in the meatpacking business. He built a Hyatt, I think it's a Hyatt, in Palm Springs.
Yes.
He's involved with Brett Favre in a steakhouse. Where's his baseball experience?
And don't forget the macaroni grill.
He just bought the macaroni grill. That was the big. They missed it in there. That was the big off-season acquisition.
Well,
macaroni.
look,
But I'm
there's
just
no
saying,
there's no explaining it. There just isn't. I think there's
But
a
we
ton
gotta-
of ignorance. There's a ton of ignorance at 20th and Blake, and it starts at the top. Here's the thing. He grew up privileged,
Is this today?
And he doesn't, Woody, he doesn't care what you say or I say or the fans say
Because what?
or his friends say or his brother says. He doesn't care. And you know why? He doesn't have to care. Because at the end of the day, he still has a team that's worth $650, $700 million.
I'm sorry.
And he's making money hand over fist.
You just saw
and
missed something.
here's the other thing. He thinks it's his brilliance that's making him the money when it's not. It's Major League Baseball cutting tremendous deals with national TV networks. That's what it is, putting money in his pockets. It's the people who built the stadium before he ever got involved as an owner, built a beautiful stadium that landed in his lap. But he thinks he knows what he's doing. There's no explaining it. There's no logic to it. He is totally
some
self-delusional.